my second fixed wing flight, second with this Zohd, and we're off flying, and I've already made a mistake. It's stuck in hold mode, so it's going to try and turn. I'm a bit confused at this moment, not knowing what's going on. My controls are not responding, and it's because I've actually got it on an autopilot mode. Ah, there you go, I've realised my mistake. Thanks to Carl, actually, who shouted out, "Wake, put it on return to home." So, I carry on, and it seems to be doing return to home, which is not a surprise. And then finally, once I know what I'm doing, I switch it back. So it's still on hold, and then I go over to not on hold. Oh my goodness, what's happening now? I'm in acro. This is still not going great. Don't know what I'm doing in acro. Let's switch. Let's find that horizon mode. Here we go, horizon. Right, now I have control. But oh no, oh no, oh no, there's some trees getting closer. So what do? I accelerate, and I get in height, even though I wasn't going to hit them anyway. Yeah, as I mentioned, this is only my second flight. This, from now on, it's a little more stable. I am a bit more careful, and I'm going to fly around relatively gently, getting used to the controls. Now, in the top left, that is actually my view I saw as my FPV view, and as you saw then, when I move a bit further away, I start to lose signal, which is why I then turn around and head back to the airfield. If I increase the power, then I could potentially go a bit further. Oh, somebody said I had to do a roll. And again, that was Carl, and he didn't see it. So I do it again. Let's see, here we go. Oh, there we go. Getting used to rolls. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. But it was successful. I didn't crash. In fact, I don't crash in the entirety of this flight. It's good when you've got wings. There's a tendency to actually stay in the air when you're not actually paying attention, which is not true with a drone. I'm used to, with a drone, just losing control completely and crashing. That doesn't happen with a plane unless something goes really wrong, like your wings fall off, for instance, which luckily they didn't do in this flight. Now you'll notice that my view is, oh, I did another, oh, what? I'm not entirely sure what that particular manoeuvre was. It's a bit like a roll, sort of, but not quite. I think there's an attempt to do a split S coming up in a moment. Oh, hang on. Oh, actually, that was a split S. So quite good. So the cars you see down at the bottom there, those are actually where I'm sat with the other guys at the club who have been helping me get this in the air. So we had a few initial problems. The first flight of it actually was an immediate nosedive into the ground, and the motor was ripped off. But a bit of glue, the motor was back on again, and we made some adjustments to the elevators on the V-tail on this Zohd Nano Talon Evo. I don't know whether those were entirely necessary, because the next flight resulted in a nosedive again. The third attempt was a lot more successful, because by this point we'd realised that I was putting too low a powered battery in the plane. There was a 3S battery in there, and I need a 4S battery for the motor that's in there. The kV of the motor was too low for a 3S. Anyway, as you can see, with the 4S battery in, the plane is now performing quite well. You'll notice that the horizon on my FPV view and the high-res version that's the main screen don't quite line up. That's because the high-res version has actually been smoothed with gyro flow, using the inbuilt gyro in the Runcam Thumb camera that is actually being used for that view. I've tried to line it up as best I can, but it's pretty much impossible because of the smoothing effect. Anyway, it does make the whole video a little bit more pleasant to watch, because it was jittering all over the place as I was flying, and that was quite unnerving. Though you can see I was managing. And that's even with the stabilisation actually switched on from the iKnife flight controller that's in the plane. Now this is actually quite a different experience from flying a drone, because, well, the drone just goes where you tell it to. It doesn't tend to wiggle around like the plane does with its wings sort of not quite lining up, and you're having to compensate all the time, although I suspect the flight controller will actually do this compensation for you. That with a drone, it's almost instantaneous. It's completely smooth in comparison to flying a plane, and it takes quite a bit of getting used to. The other thing that really takes quite a bit of getting used to is the throttle control. When you're flying a quadcopter, the throttle control is absolutely key. A tiniest little movement will change the way that the quadcopter moves completely. But with a plane, a fixed wing plane, it really doesn't matter that much. You can switch the throttle off completely, and it will just glide. You don't necessarily need to increase throttle in order to gain height that much. You can sort of glide up to a degree until you stall. Obviously, a bit of power helps. You can also run on a lower power. It's a completely different flying experience, and something I'm going to have to get used to. In a moment, you're going to see a different perspective. If you look down towards the landing area down there, you'll see a small black dot in the greeny, right just in the middle at the bottom of the screen there. Now that's Carl, and Carl has headed out there, and he's got his 5-inch quadcopter up in the air, and he's going to go and follow the plane, which will happen. There he is. He's found me. And that is actually what I'm flying. That is the V-tailed Nano Talon Evo. You can see the V-tail there, and the prop is at the rear. You get quite a nice view. He gets quite close at times. I've had to zoom in his view. He can't go as close as you'd like for safety's reason, and it's quite hard for him to keep track of me all the way whilst he's flying. But he's done a pretty good job. This is actually the stream directly from his HD0 goggles. So this is what he actually was seeing when he was, although slightly zoomed in, when he was flying, unlike me, who's got the horrible grotty analog view that you saw previously. And yeah, he's keeping up with me quite well. Oh, lost me. And there he is, he's back again. Now I actually had been doing this with his plane a few months before, so I got a full experience of actually following his plane. And to be fair, to start off with, I just couldn't find the plane at all. But once I'd found it, it was quite easy to lock on and keep with it. He got quite close there. Now the strange thing, I had no clue that he was actually following me at all. He never comes in front. I never see anything. Obviously I can't hear anything. So he was afterwards, he told me that he'd been following the drone around. Sorry, the plane around. Getting quite nice views of getting quite decent close views there. So at this point I've been flying for about 10 minutes now. It's quite a long time for being in the air, just sat with your goggles on, doing the controls. I'm not used to flying anywhere near that long with a quadcopter. Maybe get 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes at most. And I'm starting to think about maybe coming into land. Now I have to land into the wind the same way as I did when I took off. So I'll be turning around, and I'm just trying to get the best angle to come in. I'm not quite in the right place at the moment, so I'm going to have to come round again and have a look again. As you can see there, the HD0 sort of stuff came in on the top right. It's gone again now. That's because I've been changing the zoom on this in order to track the plane and get a better view, because it was just a dot. But pretty much soon Carl's going to go off and do something else, and we're going to be back to my normal view. That's about it, and he's gone. So now we're back to my camera view. We've still got the actual view on the top left is what I can actually see, and I need to circle round in order to land. There we go, going back parallel with the airstrip, losing altitude, slowing down. Now I could have flown for probably quite a bit longer, and as I was saying, it was getting quite tiring, to be fair. Oh, you'll notice I actually well, I don't think I've used yaw at all. This has all been roll and pitch in order to this, which is why perhaps I will start to use some yaw at some point. And there we go, I'm just lining up now. Now with this landing strip, annoyingly there's a load of rope fences in the way, and I don't want to hit one of the poles. Rather foolishly, I decided to go on the left of these poles, even though I'm actually on the right. But it's okay. I land successfully, and here I go on the ground. Done.